Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Peace Jones. Don't forget to like this video, to comment on this video, and to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. If you're a new subscriber, thank you so much for joining me. You'll definitely love the content. And if you've been rocking out with me, baby, you are loyal, you are smart, and you are kind, okay? Thank you so much. All right, you guys. So I'm going to give you guys a little backstory on exactly what this influencer does, who she is, what she's all about before I share the clip. But basically, as you guys can see from the thumbnail, this is going to be a video that's talking about like things that you should think about or consider before you decide to relocate, right? And my thoughts on relocating, it's always a good thing, right? If you want to relocate, if you want better for yourself, if you have a growing family, if you're forced to relocate, right? Like if someone's in the service or someone gets sick or whatever it may be, like it's to me a good thing, right? But I do often see people on social media just getting fed up with their hometown, right? So they're like, oh my gosh, I hate this place. Everyone is full of drama. Oh my gosh, there's nothing here for me. Oh my gosh, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, are y'all just complaining just to complain? Or do you really feel like that? You know, because I've seen this huge spike in people wanting to move down south, right? And I think first it was Atlanta. There was like a huge wave of Atlanta. Then I think the Carolinas kind of got in there. But now it's Texas. It's Texas, Texas, Texas. Like everyone wants to go to. At one point it was Dallas, but now it's Houston. And so that's like the thing, right? And every time someone says that, I just kind of look at them funny because one thing about it, like I said, when you decide to relocate, it's up to you. You're doing what's best for you and what suits you in your life, right? But one thing that I always consider is money, which brings stability, right? So you can move somewhere, right? But not be stable once you get there. If you don't have the income that you need to live sufficiently in this area, keep in mind every state, city, locality, townships, continent, country, it requires a different amount of money to live, right? And I don't know if people always take that into consideration. I think a lot of people look at Texas and they go, oh my gosh, I can buy like a 5-bedroom, 3-car garage with a pool in the back and a huge front and backyard for $300K. But then they don't look and see that the average salary is like $48K, $50K. Like most people that live in Texas are not making $100K plus like people that live in the DMV are, right? And even when I travel, a lot of people say like, whenever I say like, oh, I'm from wherever, they're like, oh my gosh, you have money. Oh, I know you have money. Like y'all make money out there. And it's a very common notion that people have, which is not even a notion, it's a fact. You know, I always tell people living in the DMV is not that bad because although things are expensive, you have every opportunity to make enough money to survive, right? You have so many different things at your disposal. You're literally surrounded by so many different agencies and companies. You have so many educated people out here. And I always tell people, like, if you are about your business and you go to college, you can literally make $100K in your 20s. Like you can do it. You know what I mean? It's not unheard of. It's not a rare thing. And with $100K, especially if you're single, you can definitely get by in the DMV, right? And I don't think people in the DMV realize that that's extremely rare. People in Kentucky are not making this type of money on average, right? Of course, there may be some people there that have like a great business or they're working remote and operating 12 different divisions of whatever in some other state, right? But on average, people in, you know, Kentucky or Idaho or North Carolina or South Carolina or Texas, like it's not a common thing for people to be in their 20s owning multiple properties, driving Mercedes Benz, you know, working these amazing jobs, making these great salaries. And a lot of the people in the DMV are not just flexing. Don't get me wrong, like there are people here that are flexing, but there's a big portion of people here that are in their 20s or 30s that are literally owning these homes, properties, businesses, cars, like, you know, able to afford it, still able to travel, still able to have kids, hold the household down, like do their thing, right? And I think people need to realize that, like, when you move to another place, just because you see one thing that stands out as amazing, you have to really consider other things, right? And I watch a lot of travel content, obviously, for my own good, my own research, but then just because I'm interested. But I watch one YouTuber who literally goes all around the United States, and he shows a lot of what the media isn't showing us, social media isn't showing us, people that we're getting in contact with every day or coming in contact with every day are not showing or telling us. And a lot of America today, it's not looking so cute, okay? Like, a lot of major cities in amazing places are having real issues with their economy, with job opportunities, with homelessness, with drugs, with crime. And I'm not talking about like some buried away place in Louisiana. I'm talking about like Miami, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Oakland, Oklahoma City, Dallas, like real big prominent places that you don't think would be suffering, right? And with that being said, before you go somewhere and just say, oh, I don't like my hometown, or oh, there's nothing here, or oh, I want a fresh start, understand what you're walking into, right? Like, understand that, yes, you can jump out there and you can make it work. And if you have a plan, like, by all means, do it. People do it every day. But make sure you're not doing it living someone else's dream, because this is going to very much so be your reality. And you want to make sure that the opportunities are there that you're going to need to sustain this living. And you want to make sure that those opportunities that are there, you're capable of taking advantage of, right? So like if there's a ton of jobs, let's say in Milwaukee, and you don't really qualify for any of them, right? Like you could be making whatever amount of money, getting whatever certificate, but you don't qualify for the job. Like they're not going to hire you. You need to make sure you know that before you make that move and then be out there not making enough money. Or you need to make sure that you know the land, right? The lay of the land. And that's another thing with Houston and everyone wanting to move to Texas. Like, Houston itself, the actual city, has a lot going on. It is like number one in the U.S. for sex trafficking. There's a lot of scamming. There's a ton of like carjacking, robbery, even to the point that I know at one point, like insurance companies like weren't insuring like certain vehicles or like something weird with their plans. So you want to be aware of that too, you know, like what area are you moving into? And then if you don't move into Houston itself, are you moving to Katy? Are you moving to places on the outskirts? Because then what does traffic look like, right? Same with Atlanta. Are you moving to Atlanta itself? Or are you moving to the outskirts? Because then, you know, you got to get through traffic. Same with LA. Like, you got to think about these things before you jump out there and just say, oh, I'm just randomly going to do this. And you see a lot of people. Hey guys, I just wanted to interrupt really quick. So one thing that I wanted to touch on is the fact that I was talking about everything you could do in the DMV if you do have a college education. I'm speaking on that because I do, but obviously even without that, like if you have a trade or you're a hustler, an entrepreneur, you can do just as well. And the other thing is right here at this portion that we're talking about now, I know a lot of these things seem really obvious. Like, yeah, obviously if I'm moving to wherever, I'm going to look into traffic, my commute to work, you know, what type of food is around there, how much the cost of living is, etc. But trust me when I say people don't do this. They literally jump out on a whim and then they sit there and, I'm not going to say complain, because I guess this is venting, but trust me, I've watched a lot of content where people make a move to a city that not almost everyone, but it's very obvious that these certain things occur there, or these things are issues there. And they'll be like dumbfounded. Like, they'll be like, what? I didn't know there was this. I didn't know that this was a problem. I didn't know that da-da-da. So it's like, you know, people really aren't doing their research. Although these things seem obvious and maybe you and I know it, people will move somewhere and never know these things. And then once they get there, they'll be shocked. So yeah. Jump out there and, you know, say, oh, I need a change. Oh, you know, PG County isn't for me anymore. Baltimore City isn't for me anymore, blah, blah, blah. And they make these huge steps and move to like Florida, Texas, wherever they're going. And then they come right back because they were not planning for or prepared for this. They just like the image of what they saw from other people, right? So I'm finally going to insert the clip and let you guys see what Miss Amanda has to say.
And the whole time I was thinking about how I need to give you all a disclaimer, because I'm a firm believer that happiness is a state of mind, and I have proof behind that. I had 2 girlfriends move here from Chicago, and they are truly not happy. They miss home for a multitude of reasons, one being family, community, and weather. They miss like the season change because truthfully, the summers here are brutal and it's buggy. There's a lot of pros and cons, but I just needed to tell you all that, because don't ever let somebody make you feel like if you do a specific thing or move a certain place that you'll be happy. Like, that's not true. Happiness is a state of mind. I needed to get off my chest. I needed to get that off my chest. Otherwise, I feel like, I don't know. I just feel like I don't want to post things and you be like, oh, I wish this or wish that. Like, just be happy where you are.
All right, you guys. So after watching the clip, you can see that Amanda, that's her name, gives her take on like her social media platform and how she posts all of these amazing things, beautiful sights. She's traveling all the time. She's a stay-at-home wife. Her husband is very wealthy. They have 5 beautiful kids. She's like running them around the sport. She's into fashion. She's putting on like a new really cute outfit every day. She takes us along with her shopping and gives us the links to all of her designer stuff and, you know, just all this amazing stuff. It's the lifestyle that a lot of people want to live, right? She has a beautiful home, a pool out back, living the best life, okay? She's in Florida, nice warm weather, palm trees and the beach down the street. They got their little golf cart. She's going to brunch with her girls during the day. Like, it's lovely. But all the while, she is still very humble about her lifestyle, and she reminds us often that, you know, she didn't grow up with money. She wasn't fed with a silver spoon. It just so happened that this was in, you know, her plan for life, and that's amazing, right? So she mentions, as you can see in that clip, that she basically doesn't want to steer anyone wrong and make people think that, you know, this lifestyle is just easy to come by, or this lifestyle is for everyone, right? Because it's easy to fall into that trap. If you don't really know who you are and you don't really know what you desire, aside from what social media says, aside from what you see your friend doing, aside from what YouTube content is saying, like, where do you see yourself in life? What do you need to be happy, right? Are you a city girl? Are you a country girl or guy? Do you like to live really far away from people? Do you like to kind of be in the mix? Do you really not mind spending much money on your dwelling because your home is your sanctuary? Are you kind of like, hey, I can get by doing whatever? Do you have kids? Do they need to be enrolled in a good school system? Are you an entrepreneur? Are you going into work every day? Do you suffer from mental health issues or depression, because that can affect you really bad when you move from one location to another. Are you close-knit with your family and friends? Are you used to seeing them day in and day out? That's going to really impact you, right? All these things are things that you have to consider. And I'm so glad that she mentioned that, because looking at her lifestyle, first of all, I just want to say this, and I may make a video about this. In my big grown age of 30, I see a lot of people that just still don't know themselves. And that's okay to a certain extent, because we're always growing and learning. But I feel like once you're coming towards those late 20s, 30, you kind of pushing it at the mid 30s if you don't know yourself and you don't know what makes you tick, what you desire, what you see for yourself, right? You can't just keep on following trends and like, oh, my friend does this. My friend showed me this. My friend likes this. My brother did it. Oh yeah, my old teacher said, like, what do you like? Sit yourself down and really figure out, what do you like? What do you want? What do you need in this lifetime, right? I'm talking about weeks, months. Take yourself on a little solo trip. Write in your journal. Figure out what you want and then stay laser focused on that. Don't let other things and people make you waver from that. You know what I mean? Like, some people genuinely are not materialistic. Doesn't matter how much money they have, they're not buying the Birkin bag. They're not buying the Mercedes. Like, it's just not them. Then you have other people who know they're not necessarily a materialistic person, who know they can't necessarily afford these things, and they still go out and buy them. Why? Because TikTok is pushing luxury culture, because you just saw your cousin buy a Mercedes, because you just got a little small raise and you feel like, oh, well, let me put this, like, and then you end up regretting it. And I watch people every day do this. I know people in real life that are like this, and I know people that I watch online that do this, and they're just very transparent about it. And you have to stop doing that at a certain point. You have to stop like experimenting with other people's lives, essentially. What works for them and what makes them tick, what makes them happy, can literally drive you into like a great depression. And trust me, I know people in real life who have experienced these things, because they were chasing an image, they were chasing a high, they were chasing a lifestyle that their friend, I'm trying to tell you, y'all, this is why I think I put in one of my videos, like, I really can't stand a friend that copies me, because I feel like you cannot, I don't care how much people think friends are like similar, because a lot of times, like, your friends, they have similar tastes, similar ideas, like that's kind of what brings y'all together. But in real life, you can't be copying your friend, babe, because they'll be doing something that really makes them happy or agrees with their like personality or lifestyle, and you'll try it and it will be the worst thing ever for you. So y'all have to like stop getting inspired by what's not meant for you. Like, before it's okay to like something, and it's okay to, question it, maybe run it through your head. Well, so-and-so does nursing and they're loving it and they're making good money. Maybe I could do that, right? But really run that through your mind first before you jump out there and do it. Run through all aspects of the job, talk to some people, get some advice. And the same thing with relocating, right? Don't jump up and relocate because your family member did it. Don't do it because your friend did it. Like, you need to know if this is going to work for you. And I'm so happy that she is a super successful content creator. So many people watch her. So many people are influenced by her. But she took the time to actually say, hey, don't get like super wrapped up in my lifestyle, because first of all, it has its pros and cons. And everyone's not going to share that either, right? It has its pros and cons. And then also, it fits me. It fits me, but it may not fit you, right? And I keep saying this, but I will keep saying this. I literally have friends that have moved places and come back very quickly, and their main gripe was like, it just wasn't for me. So and so did it. So and so said to try it. Thought it was gonna be lit. Wasn't for me. Had to turn it around in 6 months. Had to turn it around in 9 months. Had to turn it around in a year. I was devastated. I couldn't go on. Like, it was like, no. So make sure, you guys, and I don't know what age range is watching this, because this is like a very, I don't know, common topic, I guess. So this could be like someone moving after college watching this. This could be somebody coming out of high school about to make a big move. This could be somebody with kids that's thinking about moving, someone who has to relocate for family issues or money issues or whatever. But I just want to put this out there, y'all, like, because this is kind of travel content, if you will. And yeah. Oh yeah, and let me leave on one last note. I also watched I didn't watch it. I think I read a post from this girl who was like, I think maybe a solo traveler, but she basically decided she wanted to leave the US. It was a real matter of fact. She decided she wanted to leave the US, and she moved somewhere. I don't know whether it was like Jamaica. It was some tropical place, right? And she goes, I hated it. I literally hated it. Like, she talks about how she fell into a deep depression. She wasn't herself. Like, it was not fulfilling to her at all. She missed America, and she ended up coming back. And a lot of times you do see these like expats, or I follow one older woman who was already retired. She kind of just uprooted herself. She didn't have kids, and she moved to Mexico. I'm not sure where she's at now, because I feel like she moves around to like different places, but she seems as if she's super happy with it. She's loving it. Like, it fits her personality and lifestyle. She's having the time of her life, right? And there's quite a few people like that. Younger people, older people, people with kids even, they uproot. I know one family I was watching, they uprooted and moved to Ghana permanently, and they're living their best life. But keep in mind, y'all, it's not for everyone. And just because you can do it, even if you have the means to do it, think twice, because it's really hard when you uproot your life and then you're so devastated that you have to scramble back. And a lot of times you're literally leaving behind things that you can't run back to, right? So like, let's say you had a really nice apartment in the perfect location here in the DMV somewhere, and you had this car that was paid off, still in great condition. You jump up, break the lease. Someone else obviously moves into it. The apartment complex doesn't have any available rooms when you come back. You sold the car off. You don't necessarily have family to run back to. Like, it could just get really hard. So, yeah, I say, think before you make a move, and make sure that the move is well thought out and suited for you, and it's not just you being envious of someone else or wanting something because it looks good on social media, or wanting a lifestyle that, and that's the thing about like envying other people. A lot of times what you think you want, you couldn't even handle, or what you think you want, you wouldn't like. That's why they say be thankful for what you have, and don't ever look on someone else's plate. Because that lady, after all, she's a stay-at-home mom of 5 kids. How many of us can handle that with ease? And she does a lot of, things for her husband. She's got this whole social media career going. Like, I'd imagine that's pretty busy lifestyle to live and maintain. And is that something you really want? So yeah, always have dreams and goals and be inspired, but just make sure it's really what you want before you make the decision. All right, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.